He's my personal favorite. Like, he's the reason why he's the reason I started playing football.
Really?
Jerry Rice.
Just Jerry Rice.
Jerry Rice himself was the Niners, and Jerry Rice specifically, because I loved the way he could just, whether he was double, triple, didn't matter. He found a way to snatch that ball.
Oh Kiddan! Yo, what up, people? Hello, namaste, kem cho, assalamu alaikum, and sat sri akal. What up, guys? Welcome back to the Oh Kiddan podcast. I'm your host, Tej, and we got Tej's Pops.
Tej's Pops back in the building, man. This is man, I really enjoy doing this with you.
Yeah.
This is one of those like special father-son things that I think we're gonna, now it's memorialized.
Yeah.
Always gonna be available. So always go back as you grow up and become an older man. Probably don't have time for your pops anymore. And I can go back and watch that, man. Tej and I used to do this podcast together.
Yeah.
But I look forward to do this for you as long as I can.
All right.
I'm just messing. We're gonna do this. We're gonna make this. We're going to take this far.
Yeah.
As you get older too, right? Bring on your siblings. Who knows?
Yeah.
Right? Who knows?
Yeah.
But before that, sir. Yes,
That was
sir.
clean.
That was clean. That
Yeah.
was clean.
Yeah.
That had a lot of aura on it.
Yeah, a lot of aura.
I'm learning the lingo.
Yeah.
Sir, why are we here today?
All right,
What's going on?
So today, let's talk about all sports, not just one sport today, but
okay.
every sport. Not every single sport,
Okay.
but any sport we want to pick. Unbreakable records.
Oh,
Yeah.
bro, that's that can get deep.
Yeah, that
That's a
can
lot of
that can really
records.
get deep. Yeah.
A lot of sports, a lot of records. Okay.
So records
Okay.
that we think could be unbreakable.
That would be unbreakable.
Yeah.
We think will never be broken.
Yeah.
Just in the history, going forward in the history of sports, right? They were set and they'll never be broken.
Yep.
Before we start, man, that's a fresh jersey there you got. That's,
yeah.
That's the throwback. And I think that's probably probably has something to do with the Chinese New Year because it's got the dragon on
Oh
the
yeah,
logo.
yeah.
Okay, the Bay, man. All right.
Kevin Durant.
That's KD.
Yeah.
That KD, a lot of people don't like. That KD. But that KD's was also unstoppable.
Yeah.
So listen, greatness is greatness no matter where it goes. So I bet the Bay.
Yep. The
All right, well,
Bay.
sir, let's start then. I like that. I like that. So
All
you
right,
want to do? So before we start, if it's open to all sports,
Yeah.
you already know me.
Oh yeah.
You already know.
Coloring outside
I'm a
the
color
lines.
outside the lines, as usual, right? That's what I do. But
Okay.
I will try to follow your rules this time a little bit more stricter with stricter guidelines. So, sir, do you want to start off?
All right, I'll kick things off.
So you think, and so whatever this is a record that you think will never be broken
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm gonna start off with the NFL.
You with the NFL.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see what you got
I'm
then.
gonna start off with Emmitt Smith. 18,355 career rushing yards.
Wow.
That is insane.
That is insane.
That is absolutely insane. The current player, the player who's currently playing, holding this record is Derrick Henry with 9,502 rushing yards. That is insane.
So he's like halfway there.
Yeah. Derrick Henry is halfway there, and he's pretty well into his career too.
Correct. He doesn't look like he's gonna be breaking that record.
Yeah, he
doesn't.
ain't breaking that record.
Bro, I that record right there, Emmitt Smith was. This is before your time, clearly,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Dallas Cowboys, phenomenal running back,
Okay.
and I remember watching him, and he was mesmerizing, man. Like the way he played the game was special.
Okay.
So it was, I believe it was whenever the Cowboys played, it was either the 49ers or the Giants.
Okay.
This one the Giants were actually somewhat decent
Yeah.
back then.
Yeah. Okay.
And it was just like, who's gonna come out on top? Especially when it was against the Niners, because you have Deion Sanders on one side,
Yeah.
right? That whole crew.
Yeah.
And you got the Cowboys, and Cowboys were a problem back then with Troy Aikman, Michael Irving, and Emmitt Smith. That was like there was a lot of other good players. Like their line was amazing. They had one of the best lines in the game.
Who did the Giants have on their defense?
There might have been the Michael Strahan
What about Lawrence
time
Taylor?
frame. Lawrence Taylor was before that.
Oh, he was-
I believe before that. Maybe later. I'm not sure. I'm not a big football guy.
Okay.
And it could be LT might have been there, but probably a little late. He might have been in his later years when Emmett was in his prime years. Could be. But I'm more comfortable saying Michael Strahan was there.
Okay.
And man, every time the Cowboys played, that was much watch TV because Emmitt Smith he could run.
So I had a question to understand Emmitt Smith more. Who's better, Emmitt Smith or a guy I know, Eddie George?
Bro, Eddie George already also before your time. What do you mean, guy you know?
Like the only reason I know
He
him
retired before you were born, I think.
is because Ray Lewis, like one of the greatest linebackers ever.
Another guy before your time.
Yeah, I know him though.
Yeah, of course, Ray.
And Ray Lewis, I heard battles about him and Eddie George going in.
Oh yeah.
So I wanted to ask, who's better, Eddie George or
So before I get there, Ray Lewis and Eddie George was like two Rams. You ever seen Rams battling head to head? That's what those two guys were. Head to head. You don't know who's gonna win because they were both beasts, monsters. They were just another must-watch TV game.
Yeah.
Tennessee Titans, Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah.
Must-watch TV. But from your question, Emmitt Smith or Eddie George?
Yeah.
See, they're two different running backs. That's the thing. You can't compare them like that.
Okay, so what type of running back
That's why I
is...
can't compare Emmitt Smith and Derrick Henry because they're two different running backs, right?
What type of running back is Emmitt Smith?
Emmitt Smith was more jukey. He could juke,
Oh,
right?
okay.
Yeah, he was one of those like
Eddie George was just
very
a powerhouse.
shifty. Eddie George is more of your traditional today's like Derrick Henry, right?
Okay.
He was from in that sense. Again,
Okay.
Tennessee Titans, right? Derrick Henry. It was one of those power running backs, those Jerome Bettis type, like the big guys who who just pummel through like the bus and just the truck that goes through everybody.
Yeah.
Right. Emmitt was more. He wasn't like shifty like Barry Sanders was, but he was like I guess he would say it was a blend of both. Right.
Okay.
He wasn't a lot of power, but he was But the way he could juke and shift and see the seams that slip through, like it was. He had a skill, man. It was a beautiful art to watch. It's poetry.
Okay.
So and also they had a beautiful line. So they would open that door wide for him to just blast through.
All right.
So yeah, Emmitt was nice, man.
That's a great combo. Sounds like a great.
Yeah. No, we're gonna watch some Emmitt Smith highlights.
So that's my first Unbreakable.
Emmitt's good, man. I like. That's a good way to start. Okay. Even though that's not really your team, but it's a good way to start.
Okay.
All right. So I'm gonna go with. See, here's what I'm trying to think. Should I go with a record that's not one would want, or a record that technically one would want? So how about this? I'm gonna do this.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with a guy who has multiple records.
Okay.
This is me coloring us. I'm gonna start with the coloring us side already. I'm gonna go with a multiple record guy who he was special in his time. People might think, all right, well, the game's changed since back then, and we're not in the 90s anymore. And I'm talking about the NBA.
Okay.
This is before the 90s. So now most people give it even less respect.
Okay.
But at this time, this guy was dominating. And this is Wilt Chamberlain.
Okay. Wilt Chamberlain.
Wilt is still, they call them, and Wilt, man, he has so many records.
Oh, yeah.
So many records, which I don't think will be broken, especially with the way the game has changed, the way guys are more talented. It's different now, right? Everyone is skilled now. It's not just a few guys. Everyone's like, there's a lot of big guys who can do a lot of things. They're versatile, right? Stretch bigs now.
Yeah.
It's almost like that positionless basketball. Not fully.
Yeah, not fully.
But in some sense, right? You got your bigs. You could stretch the floor all the way to the 3-point line.
Yeah.
That makes it different, right? Especially like guys like now Wemby.
Wemby is insane.
He took that even further.
He took it like it's Steph Curry range.
Correct, right? He could stretch it all the way out there. And he's versatile to do a lot of other things. And he covers so much ground.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things, right? So I'm going to go with Wilt. And just some of the records that I think which should never be broken is like, which I think you think it's going to be broken because guys are just a lot more talented.
Okay.
I think it will too at some point, but not anytime soon. And that's the 100-point game.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Not any point soon, I think. But I think it's eventually going to be broken.
I think correctly.
Because players start like regularly, not like regularly, but like averaging 70.
It happens a lot. It happens a lot in a
70.
season, right?
Yeah.
In a season, like there's multiple guys who scored well past 60, 70 points.
Yeah.
And at some point, it's going to happen.
Yeah, but not anytime soon.
Correct. And if anybody who was close to doing it was Kobe, right? The late great Kobe. Yeah. And even then, from some of the interviews I've seen, he could have done it, but Phil didn't want that to happen. So he pulled him out and told him that some records should never be broken. I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah.
I think if the guy could have broken it, let him.
Yeah, yeah. For
Absolutely
sure.
let him.
For sure.
Because I always believe records are meant to be broken.
Yeah.
Right? There's another record I kind of want to talk about with part of this, but I don't know if you have it on your list. Russell Westbrook,
Okay.
right?
Oh,
The triple-double record.
yeah.
That record, Oscar Robertson held it for like, I think 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, oh, this is never going to be broken. Until a guy came, and not only did he break it, he broke it consecutive, three seasons. For 3 seasons, he broke that record. You know how insane that is?
That
is ridiculous. That is one of the most craziest performances I've ever seen. So this is another reason why I'm not part of the Russell Westbrook hate.
Yeah.
I think he's one of the most phenomenal athletes to ever play a sport.
Yeah, for sure.
A guy I think could have done equally well on the football scene as well.
Oh, yeah.
The way he is.
Definitely.
So I am a huge fan of. So that's Russ, right? I just talked about 2 records. That's me coloring outside the lines even more.
Okay.
But back to Wilt. So the 100 points, he had a season with 50.4 points per game average in a season. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that is.
How do you average 50 points a game?
Yeah, I had that one too.
50 points a game, bro. Like what? How's that a thing?
That's like a breakout game.
No, that's NBA 2K.
Yeah.
Not even in 2K, you can't. I don't think you can do that. That's crazy.
You can't really do that.
Which is insane. Like in real life, this guy, he was playing against plumbers and you could say whatever you want. All history is going to remember is when I look it up on Google, when it's Googleable,
Yeah.
and the result comes up, oh, this is the record. It's the record.
Yeah.
It's in the history books. Period. Say whatever you want to say. It's like the guy whose jersey you're wearing.
Yeah.
You can get mad at him if you know the history, if you know the background. But your youngest brother, he don't know the background. He doesn't even know what that's all about. That whole era was about. When he grows up, all he's gonna remember is, or when he looks it up on NBA.com or wherever, oh yeah, Kevin Durant won 2 championships. That's all he's gonna remember. It's all he's gonna see. He's not gonna see, oh, but he joined the team that beat him the year before, and he joined the great Steph or the 73. He's not gonna know all that. And nor is he gonna care enough to go look into the context of it. So this is why, like, people get caught up in these things, man. Like, nah, just go do what you gotta do.
Deep. It's not that deep.
It may be deep at that point. Like, yeah, I was part of, like, you know, like, yeah, I agree. Like, I know the context. I wasn't a fan of that, but 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now, ain't nobody gonna care.
Yeah, no one's gonna.
And no one's gonna care to look back and say, oh, well, let me check the storyline back then. Ain't nobody care. Ain't nobody got that kind of time. Nobody's got that kind of time, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I think these are just multiple things, right? So again, 50.4 points per game, which is nonsense. I think the closest thing I've ever seen even to that was like a 30, 33, 34, maybe 35.
Nah, James Harden, I have one here. Currently, the person to hold that record is James Harden. In his prime Rocket years, he averaged 36.1 points.
So there you go, right? The next closest is 36. So he
50
was
is insane, man.
Yeah, that's insane. It's just nonsense. It doesn't even sound real. So there's that. And then there's another one. He had 55 rebounds in one game.
Oh, yeah. I had that one, too.
Like, I'm sorry, what?
Oh, my God. 55 rebounds.
I just can't fathom that.
Nah.
That's what teams get. Collectively, they don't even get that.
Collectively.
Right? But 55 by himself, which is... Now, granted, I don't know how deep they were keeping these stats because there's offensive rebounds and there's defensive rebounds.
Yeah.
Technically, I've seen guys purposely miss to get their own rebound and get this rebound stat.
Giannis has done that.
I don't know if Wilt was in that category. I highly doubt it.
Yeah, I doubt it too.
But again, I don't know if they're offensive rebounds or defensive rebounds.
Yeah.
But still, man, again,
55.
Again, am I going to go back and is there footage,
No.
is there tape to go find out how many offensive, defensive rebounds he had? Or is anybody going to care enough to go back and look and to know the context and put context behind it? Probably not. Chances are they're not.
Yeah.
But he has the record, 55 rebounds in a game.
55 is just absurd.
It's absurd. There's some other absurd records similar to that with assists. So like, I don't know if you know about Scott Skiles, 20 assists in a game.
20?
20.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. It's insane. So there's records like that out there. And he's a little bit more recent. He's more recent NBA. Well, not very recent, but more recent than Wilt was.
Yeah.
So in that sense, like, and also the game has changed, right? Wilt was playing in the era was the big man's game.
Yeah.
Now it's not the big man's game or as much of a big man's game. So it just depends again. So we can't compare apples with oranges and then oranges with cucumber or I don't know, eggplant or I don't know, a vegetable with a tomato.
Yeah, you can't do
right?
that.
Or a potato, whatever it is. You can't do that. So it's one of those things that you just got to take it for what it's worth, appreciate the performance, appreciate that moment in history, and just keep it moving, man. Right? Not that deep. Sir, I'm sorry. I took a lot there.
All right. So I'm going to keep going with your Wilt.
Okay.
I have another Wilt Chamberlain one. In one game, Wilt Chamberlain, in that same like 1961-62 season, where he averaged 100, in that season, Wilt went 100% in shooting, field goal percentage.
Wow.
100% with 42 points against the Washington Bullets.
So I'm thinking they were pretty much all layups and dunks.
Yeah, probably.
Ain't nobody shooting 100% from out there.
Yeah,
although I think was Steph the one who recently went perfect
he went 8 for 8
from three. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Like, that's more impressive to me though, right? Than Will just putting up a bunch of close range, high percentage shots, right? Steph shots are a little bit more, not a little, a lot more difficult.
Yes, definitely.
So and let me correct myself. I did say Scott Skiles with 20 assists. He had 30.
30
assists in 1990.
Ooh.
Yeah, I remember he was on the Orlando Magic at that time.
Ooh.
30 assists in a game
That's
was ridiculous.
That's
nonsense.
Man.
So I have another one. I want to come more recent. This is back in 2015. Klay Thompson, 37 points in a quarter.
Oh, yeah.
You remember that? He had like 3 dribbles, I think, or whatever, the whole quarter. It was just catch and shoot, catch and shoot, catch and shoot. He was on fire.
That is just
37.
absurd.
And we're like, less than 5 dribbles, I think, or whatever it was in the whole quarter.
In 12 minutes,
37 points. 37 points. He was on fire. And I think it was against the Kings, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
It was like, you know when they say flamethrower?
Yeah.
He was beyond the flames. Whatever the next better version of flamethrower is, that's what he was.
37
points.
Man.
Which is insane, bro. Like, how do you think about like just the mentality you have to have though? Like how that rim must not even feel like, you know when they say the rim feels like at the ocean? You throw the golf ball, tennis ball into the ocean. It's got to be even beyond that.
Yeah, way beyond that.
It's got to be way beyond that.
Yeah.
Whatever that is.
37 points in a quarter.
Yeah.
That is insane.
So, I mean, that's the one I have here. So go ahead.
I'm going to go back to football.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Jerry Rice.
Yeah,
with 22,895 receiving yards career. That is...
Man, Jerry is... He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT of receiving.
22,000.
He's the GOAT of receiving.
yards.
Yeah, he's the GOAT of receiving. He had longevity. He was durable. He was dominant. He faced a lot of great corners back in his day.
With Deion Sanders.
Double teams.
Yeah.
Man, they would design all defenses around this guy. And that was the matchup when the Niners played the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Right? One side you had Jerry. The other side you had Michael Irving. Both great receivers.
Yeah.
But Jerry was he was special, man. He was one of those like he was the kind of guy, his work ethic, humble, didn't talk a lot of trash. Even when I don't know if you know this, but after he won the Super Bowl, literally the next day, he was training.
Really?
He was back at their facility training.
Really?
Correct.
That proves he's the greatest wide receiver.
That tells me his work ethic. There's a reason. Like it's not by accident.
Just like Kobe, there's a reason.
Correct. Jerry was made of that fabric, right? Jerry was he's my personal favorite. Like, he's the reason why he's the reason I started playing football.
Really?
Jerry Rice.
Just Jerry Rice.
Jerry Rice himself was the Niners, and Jerry Rice specifically, because I loved the way he could just, whether he was double, triple, didn't matter. He found a way to snatch that ball.
Okay.
Right? Granted, he also had one of the greatest QBs.
Oh yeah, Montana.
Right? Joe Montana.
Yeah.
But like the way he could beat anybody and everybody to get that pass and score, he was tall, he was long, but his route running is just the way he was like very humble and disciplined. I loved watching him play, and the reason I was like, yo, I want to be a receiver. I want to receive like him. Right?
That got you to be a receiver?
That got me to like want to learn how to catch correctly, receive, run routes, juke my guy, and then get open. Don't matter who's guarding me, right? And then again, that goes to basketball too, right? I don't see the guy in front of me.
Yeah.
Same thing. I don't care who's guarding me. Throw that ball up, I'm gonna get it.
Yeah.
Like that's like Randy Moss, right? You're gonna find a way to get that ball.
Calvin Johnson.
There's these grades out there. Julio Jones.
Yeah.
Well, when he was in his prime, guys like that.
Yeah.
So, sir, that's I I like Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice was a good one.
Jerry.
I have one here.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with the Giants.
Giants?
My Giants. Well,
Okay.
I don't know about my Giants, but your Uncle Ken appointed me a Giants fan because we're from the area.
Okay.
So I said better Giants than the Jets.
Okay, yeah.
I'm gonna go with Michael Strahan.
Michael Strahan?
Michael Strahan had 22 and a half sacks in a season by himself. That's insane. Sacks. 22 and a half. That's how dominant
Are you
he
sure
was.
it's not tackles?
Sacks.
Sacks.
Oh, no, guys get tackles. Guys get more tackles than that. Sacks. Correct.
That is just absurd.
That is absurd.
Yo.
22 and a half sacks in a single season, which is ridiculous.
Yo.
That's ridiculous.
Yo.
Yeah.
That.
So think about it. There's what, 16 games? When he was playing, 16 or 17? I don't know how many games there were, but they're like in the mid-teens games. So he has more sacks than games. So he's getting multiple sacks a game.
Yeah.
Which is, how insane is that? So how scared must you be
Yeah.
as an offensive tackle and a quarterback?
Yeah, quarterback.
You got to double team
Yeah.
to stop this man. You literally have to double team him to stop him
put the
or even slow him down.
You put the O-line and the tight end.
You got to put the offensive guard and the offensive tackle in front of him and maybe even the halfback or the fullback in the back to say, yo, be safety or like cover me. I need some more time.
That is insane, bro. That is.
So he was that dominant. Michael Strahan was that dominant.
Okay.
So and then kudos to him with what he did with his career. Like he took that, parlayed into TV and became a TV personality, right? Yeah. So I mean, really fun work personality to watch.
All right.
So yeah, Michael Strahan for me.
All right, next record, I'm going to go with my favorite athlete, soccer. My favorite athlete.
Okay.
CR7.
CR7.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to go 917 career goals so far. At the age of 39, he has 917 career goals. That is,
Do you know though? I think I saw somewhere career goals, right?
yeah.
There's a guy who has more than that though.
Actually?
Yeah. I don't know if you know, this is way before your time, even before my time. Have you heard of a gentleman called Pelé?
Pelé, yeah.
Yeah. Who doesn't know Pelé in the soccer world?
Yeah.
1,279 career goals.
What?
1,279 career goals. Pelé, Messi, and CR7 not even close to getting there yet.
Yo, really?
1,279 career
I searched
goals.
up Pelé and I saw something else.
Did you?
Yeah, I saw like 500.
We may need to do a fact check, but I'm pretty sure Pelé he's the GOAT.
Okay.
Pelé is, again, different era. I get it, but it's a record that he keeps, from my understanding. We could fact check it.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure. I'm very confident that that's valid. Okay, so that's yours.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go with. See, I didn't want to go with like the traditional one, right? Like we all know about Bill Russell, 11 championships, right? Like we get it. It's not gonna happen. Most people, Michael Jordan, 6 for 6. Like we know that's more attainable. But to go perfect, that's difficult.
Yeah.
Right? LeBron he's been to like 8, 9 years in a row, whatever it is.
Like 10. I think.
And he lost like almost half of them.
Yeah, he lost more than half of them.
So we know, right? Like the Bill Russell thing, we know is not gonna happen.
Yeah.
I would confidently say nobody's getting 11 championships. You may have to play 30 years and be on a lot of super teams or really good teams.
Yeah.
Have a lot of luck, but you should be. But if guys win 1, 2, that's good. Congratulations, right? Because that's tough enough to win already. Very hard to win that. Michael winning 6, going perfect. That's insane. That is insane.
Some people say that era had plumbers though.
So here's what I say about that. Here's what I say about that. If they were plumbers, what does that make us?
Oh yeah.
Garbage men?
Yeah, garbage man.
Not to downplay like the profession. Like I'm sorry, I don't mean to like be disrespectful, but respectfully, like what does that make us?
Garbage man.
It makes us terrible. It makes us garbage. It makes us horrific. If they were plumbers, we were worse.
Yeah.
Because at least they made it.
Yeah.
What did we do? So to say that and to downplay, to disrespect it like that, I'm not with that, man. I'm not with it.
He had to go through Magic.
Yes, he had to go through a lot of Hall of Famers.
Clyde Drexler in his prime.
And Isaiah Thomas, Larry Bird.
Yeah.
Charles Barkley, Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah. Sean Kemp.
So Hakeem Olajuwon.
Yeah.
And you can just, list goes on and on. David Robinson.
Yeah, Karl Malone.
So yeah, John Stockton. Like I'm sorry. Sorry. No,
yeah,
stop.
There's too many people.
Stop.
Too many people.
Stop it. Right? It just sounds so ridiculous coming out. Like I'm sorry, what? And there's another thing I realized that Michael Jordan never, ever in his entire life lost a finals game, whether it was Olympics,
Ever?
whether it was college.
Oh yeah, college.
I think college. The 1 year he won, I think college. Did he leave after the first year?
Yeah, he left out
So he never lost. He won in college. He won in
NBA.
and he won in the Olympics. So he's never lost.
College, NBA, and Olympics.
Every finals game he's played, he's never lost.
I've never thought of that. That's
crazy,
insane.
right?
Yeah.
That's insane. Like that level of dominance. Like, I'm sorry, who has that?
Nobody.
Who has that?
Nobody.
The next closest guy you could think of is who has multiple, maybe Kobe, but he lost a couple.
He went 5 for 7.
Yeah, he went 5 for. So the next closest guy, 5 for 7, and in the finals in the Olympics, he won in the Olympics, right?
Yeah.
He didn't go to college. He played in high school.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's the next closest guy, I would say.
Yeah. Kobe.
Right. So you have Bill Russell. We're not even gonna bring him into this category.
Yeah.
But in the new era, like MJ was that dude. Right? He was that guy. So and to say anything about that era in a disrespectful manner is just tells me that you're ignorant.
Yeah.
And if you call them plumbers, then guess what you are.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
Man.
Let's put it that way.
All right, so I'm gonna go with another soccer one.
Okay.
Pele. I'm gonna go with Pele's 3 World Cups.
Oh.
3 World Cups.
Yeah, man.
So think about it.
Dominant.
If you play 20 years of soccer, which is around what he did, he played 20 years of soccer. That means you play in 5 World Cups in total. You play in 5 World Cups, and he won more than half of them.
That's crazy.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
He only lost twice
How dominant
in the World Cup.
How dominant was he?
Yeah. And it's like that era was also like good. Like they had Diego Maradona. And in his last year of soccer, right before retiring, he won the World Cup.
Pele I remember growing up when I was little, when he was in his heyday, and I just remember the name. And I just remember like to say the word Pele came automatically with winning.
Yeah.
Right? As winner.
Yeah.
That's what the word Pele meant.
Yeah.
So you know like today they say the Michael Jordan of this and that, whatever.
Yeah.
Before Michael, it was basically you could say the Pele of, right? The Pele was just a winner.
Yeah.
That's how dominant he was.
3 World Cups.
It's crazy, man.
3 out of 5.
That's special. He was that kind of guy.
Yeah.
That kind of talent.
And he never lost in a World Cup final. The 2 years he didn't win, he made
Did he make it?
He did make it to the final.
Okay. Well, man, it's Pele.
Yeah.
What else? That's crazy, right? The other thing is like another guy. Honestly, I don't even know his last name.
Yeah, I don't know either.
It's just Pele.
Yeah,
You know him
Pele.
as Pele.
Yeah, Pele.
Which is crazy, right? You know the guy by his one name.
Yeah.
4 letters. Pele.
Yeah.
That's it. That's special. That's special. I got one here. I'm gonna go off brand, off mainstream. But a lot of people would know this. Michael Phelps.
Oh, okay.
Michael Phelps, man.
Okay.
23 Olympic gold medals.
23.
23.
Gold.
Correct.
Yo.
But see, let's put it into context though. Let's make it a little bit more to understand the weight of it. The Olympics come around every 4 years.
Yeah.
It's not like every season we watch these guys like MJ and whoever. Yeah. Oh, they get a chance. Oh, I'm gonna get a chance next year. Or if I lose this year, I'm gonna come back next year. Okay, but for the Olympics, you can't say that.
Yeah, it's 4 years.
If I lose now, I come back 4 years after, right? I come back in 4 years, which also means I'm only 4 years older.
Yeah. Yo, wait, how many gold medals did he win?
23.
Yo.
Right?
Nah.
So now you get where I'm going with that?
Nah. 23.
So now you see where I'm going with that, right? To come back to say if I don't win now, I have to wait 4 years, and in 4 years new talent can show up.
Yeah.
You get 4 years older.
Yeah.
And you have 4 years, you have to learn how to train your mind and body with that kind of discipline for 4 years. That's special. That's different.
Yeah.
Whereas
a lot of Olympic athletes.
Correct.
Yeah.
Which is why I feel like Olympic athletes who are dominant in their sport, like Simone Biles, right?
Yeah.
These type of people, they're literally and figuratively in every way, mentally, emotionally, physically built different.
Yeah, built different.
They're built different. And you can't, like Usain Bolt, another guy. You can't compare them to your yearly athlete who has the next year, right? It's easy to say that, or easier to say that, right? Because okay, I have another opportunity next year.
Yeah.
But to say, oh, I'm not going to get an opportunity till 4 years after, right? So it's either now, sometimes now or never.
Yeah, now or never sometimes.
because anything can happen in 4 years.
Yeah, literally anything.
So that's why like this record and any Olympic athlete, all these
Yeah.
people I just named,
Yeah.
Simone Biles, Usain Bolt,
Yeah.
Michael Phelps, Katie Ledecky. By the way, Michael Phelps and Katie Ledecky are all they're local. They're from
Actually?
Maryland. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
those type of people, super. Like I have so much respect for their craft and their art and their discipline and
Yeah.
focus, commitment to the sport. It's mind-boggling,
Yeah.
right? And it's admirable. Like that's something like. All right, if you want to learn mental toughness, emotional toughness, those are the people you learn from.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are the people you learn it from.
For
How do I
sure.
stay locked in when I know next year I'm not going to get an opportunity, right?
Yeah.
How do I stay locked in year after year after year until my time comes? So they're special, man. I find that to be special.
That record's insane.
That is he won a lot.
Yeah. Did he ever lose?
I don't recall him losing.
Okay.
All I know is there's a picture of him standing and he has all the medals together on his chest and it just covers his whole body because that's how many medals of just gold. And it's all gold too, not silver,
Yeah.
not bronze, gold,
Okay.
right?
That's absurd.
He the best,
Yeah.
right? We the best,
Yeah.
right? What was it? Callus? Another one,
Yeah.
another one, another one.
Yeah.
That's Michael Phelps.
All right. So I'm gonna go with one that is not many people know about this one,
Okay.
and it's not a good one either. It's Rasheed Wallace, the most technical fouls in a season. 41.
Rashid was known for his technical.
41 technical fouls in a season.
Yes, Rashid was a bit more vocal in his mannerisms and his expression of the game. We also have to put into context there was also part of that little bit of era in the NBA when NBA officiating
Oh yeah.
was a little
yeah.
a little skewed or a little I think it's still somewhat,
Yeah.
but that's a separate matter. But I think at that point though it was proven, right? A case
Yeah,
came
yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Big documentary, all that.
Yeah.
There was a bunch of refs. One in particular who had to take the fall for pretty much everybody. I don't think he was the only one doing it, but he's the one they had to make the example out of, right? That's who they chose. That I think did play a little bit of part into his text,
A little bit. Yeah.
right? Where or maybe a lot. I don't know. But Rashid was very vocal about it.
He got some text for like just walking around.
Correct. And he was part of that. Whereas he was so vocal and they were trying to, I guess, manipulate games in one way or another. And
Yeah.
he just happened to be on the wrong end of that. Because again, he was talking so much. Although later, I don't know if you had a chance to watch some podcasts where he has his own podcast now, or he was on some podcasts, some
Okay.
documentaries, and they interviewed him about that situation. And he said, I already knew what was happening. I was vocal about it, right? He saw it coming. He saw what was happening and he called them out. They didn't like it, so they penalized him. So that's why I feel like that record is a little bit with an asterisk.
Okay.
But again, if you don't know the context, you don't know the background,
Yeah,
all you
yeah.
see is that, and that's all you think, right? You don't know that whole background story behind it. So that's why I'm gonna stand up for Rashid, right?
Right.
I like Rashid. I loved him on the Pistons. I loved the way they all played. That,
Yeah.
And that Detroit Pistons team
Yeah.
was special. Man.
Yeah, that was insane.
Yeah. I see a bunch here I can go with.
Okay.
Let's go with, because I talked about a lot of these guys too already.
Okay.
When I did the combo stuff.
Okay.
Let me go with, we talked about Ray Lewis,
Yeah. Ray Lewis.
right? That team that he was part of, Ed Reed, Ray Lewis.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, there are a bunch of guys, like, I think they called themselves the Legion of Boom,
Oh yeah, the Legion of Boom.
right? Because if you coming through there, they're booming you,
Yeah.
right? You gotta take that boom and you might not get up. And in 2000, the Ravens, their defense only allowed 165 points the entire season.
Yo, even the playoffs, counting the
entire
playoffs.
season. That part I'm not sure about. So what that means is in today's high-scoring NFL, a defense holding opponents to fewer than 10 points per game over a season.
Yo,
That means you held every team
under 10 points.
under 10 points
Yo,
for the duration of the season. You know how ridiculous that is?
Nah, teams be averaging like 20 now.
Correct.
Yo.
Correct. 10 is like, that's easy
Yeah,
work, right?
Yeah.
So
Only 10?
for the duration of the season, you held the team,
So less than 2 touchdowns.
well, correct. Less than 2, a touchdown and a kick.
Yeah, less than that.
Less than that.
Yo,
That's how dominant this defense was.
The Legion of
The
Boom.
Legion of Boom.
Okay.
And I mean, Ray Lewis, right?
Yeah, Ray.
Ed Reed. They're considered the best, one of the best ever
Yeah.
in their positions. Both of them on the same team. And I remember, man, that team was special. That's why I like their battles with the Titans and Eddie Georgian on them.
Yeah.
Like there's a clip of Bill Belichick when he's talking about when they're going against the Patriots are going against the Ravens, and the way Ed Reed would make some of those reads and fool the defense or fool the quarterback. I think they were playing the Colts, and he was talking about Peyton Manning making a read and the way Ed Reed had turned, and he did it just to trick Manning. Then he doubled back and he got the interception, and the way he did it is remarkable. So
Okay.
like that Ravens defense was special.
That's smart.
Yeah, exactly. And you got two guys who are high IQ players,
Yeah.
and their work ethic's ridiculous. I don't know if you know, Ray Lewis's workouts were not what the normal person can take.
Can take.
Yeah, his workouts were borderline ridiculous. Like they were ridiculous.
Okay.
The amount of times he worked out in a day, and the weights he was lifting, and the reps he was doing, the sets he was doing, they're they're not normal.
Do you know about how much he lifted?
A lot. Like
A lot.
A lot. There's so you don't know, you know what Nelly is?
Nelly, no.
Nelly was a rapper from St. Louis back in the day. So Nelly had this little, like, he did this little show where he would go and lift, because he used to lift. He would lift with athletes, right? He would go work out with a day workout with an athlete. Like he did one with Allen Iverson.
Okay.
He did one with Ray Lewis. Nelly was in great shape, except when he got with Ray Lewis. He couldn't keep up with Ray Lewis.
Yo, actually,
And Nelly was in good shape.
on a show.
Correct. Ray was, the way Ray was going, Nelly couldn't keep up. That's how good, like, that's how intense Ray's workouts were. And then Ray was like, this only once. Like, I'm going to do it again later today.
Yo, again?
Yeah. So Ray was like, he was
You could
different.
not live a day in the life.
Ray was different.
Ray
Ray
Lewis.
was literally built different in physically, emotionally, mentally. Man was different.
Okay.
This is why Ray was Ray,
Yeah.
right? So.
All right, next, I'm going to go with John Stockton. I think you might know this
I already
one.
know this one. You know, a lot of people, most people know this one.
John Stockton, 15,806 career assists.
Okay.
That's a lot of assists, though.
That's what you
No
call. That's what
career.
you call an unselfish player.
Yeah, unselfish
But
basketball.
again, he also, a lot of those assists came to the guy who scored the second most point or third most point now.
Carmelo.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that duo was special.
The fact that MJ beat both of them
Correct.
with Scotty injured.
Correct. Absolutely.
Yeah,
So no, for sure, John Stockton's record was unbelievable.
15,000.
Correct. Which tells you, one, he was undersized.
Yeah.
Undersized point guard, right, out in Utah, but he was tough. Like Gary Payton, we talk about him. He said, and they asked him, like, he was like the toughest guy. The one guy I could not get to, like, because he was talking trash to everybody, right? He said the one guy I could not get to was John Stockton. I would talk so much smack to this guy, and he never responded. Never responded. He went and just played his game, and by the time I look up at the scoreboard and the stat sheet to see what the record, like what the stats were, and the guy would have like 15 and 15.
Yo, 15
Like,
and
yeah, 15 points, 15 assists,
Yo.
and a bunch of rebounds in between, couple steals. So like,
That's a really good player. That's the
Correct. He
type of
was-
player you'd want.
correct, quiet, about his business, and locked in. You can't ask for more than that, right? He was a good shooter, right? He could do it. John Stockton was that guy who can do a little bit of everything.
And that Utah team was good.
Absolutely. They got to the finals twice. Unfortunately, they ran against Mike.
Yeah.
But that team, John Stockton was, again, he was on the dream team.
Yeah.
The original dream team, John
Yeah.
Stockton. Yeah, they say that, that was a spot that Isaiah Thomas potentially could have, would have, should have maybe had,
Okay.
allegedly. But again, if you don't know the history,
Yeah.
you're going to look up Dream Team and you're going to see what?
There's
John
a lot.
Stockton.
There's a lot of that.
There's John Stockton.
There's a lot of that.
Right?
Yeah.
So John Stockton was special, man. And he gets overlooked a lot. But that's the kind of guy like I want on my team, because I know that he is going to quietly go. He's coachable. He's quiet. He's locked in. He's focused. He's intelligent. And he's skilled. He can do it. Right? And he's unselfish. He's looking for my guys. He's looking for my guys to score. And he's not going to complain about it. What more do I want? That's it. He plays the game correctly.
Yeah. That's a fundamental basketball.
That's a Correct. It's a fundamentally sound, very complete basketball player.
Yeah.
Sure, he's not going to be a high flying blocker or
yeah.
dunker, whatever. But there's more to the game than that,
Yeah.
right? So whatever this guy, he dominated he found his niche, and he just went at it, went to
Alright.
work. So no, I think that's a great place to end it, man, because I think that's the way to end it, right? With the right kind of mindset, right kind of player, underlooked, overlooked, not underlooked, overlooked,
Yeah, overlooked.
underappreciated,
Yeah, definitely underappreciated.
right? John Stockton for sure. I mean, a lot of these other guys, like, yeah, some of these other guys are more, loud and boisterous. But John he wasn't even a talker. I barely remember any sound bites of his because he just went about his business, right? And then he just sailed away and retired, and that's it.
Yeah.
I think he does some coaching on the side, and his son plays.
Okay.
But again, I don't know a whole lot about him, right? Because
Yeah.
the guy he just went about his business.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
He's like Tim Duncan.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like Timmy or like Bo,
Yeah.
right? Probably not
Jerry Rice.
not like physically dominant.
Jerry Rice.
Right, but he wasn't like a physical dominance.
Yeah,
like
he
that.
wasn't physical.
Those guys are more physically
Yeah,
dominant.
yeah.
He was just,
Quiet.
if you saw him walking down the street, you had no idea it's John Stockton. And there's actually an incidents in the Dream Team when they went overseas, and I can't remember where they were, in Barcelona, where they were, and the bus got stuck, and he just got off the bus and started walking, and nobody knew who he was.
Really?
Because he just blended into the crowd.
Yeah.
He's 6 feet tall or something, right?
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
overly, like a 6 feet tall white guy with just walking
Yeah.
with his family. It looks like any other tourist out there. It doesn't look like a basketball player.
Yeah, definitely.
Whereas the rest of the bus people, like your MJs, none of them could walk out in the street without getting bothered. And they were talking about it. The other team players, they were like, man, when we saw him do that, we were so jealous that we can't do that, right? He can go live a normal life. And we can't do that because you give that up,
Yeah.
right? Being in the public
Oh,
light.
yeah.
So this is why, like, John Stockton, like, I much respect to John Stockton. I don't care what anybody says about that era of Plumber, this and that. Point is, he's a history setter. He set history. He is somebody that if you want to learn how to play the game correctly and you want to show somebody, hey, this is how you impact the game.
Yeah.
This is how you do it without the loud, being colorful and talking too much.
Yeah.
John Stockton's that fundamental, like that's what you build up upon, right? You build from that stage.
I heard an interview about Ronaldo, and it's like he can't take his kids to the park.
Oh no,
Yeah.
absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Did you ever see the was it a prank or a skit where Ronaldo like disguised himself and he's playing outside,
Oh, yeah.
juggling the ball, and like
Yeah.
I forgot, it was Italy or wherever.
Yes.
In like a open area where people just walk in.
Yeah.
And he's disguised, right, with long hair, glasses, and some random little kid comes and starts like juggling with him,
Yeah.
and no one's paying mind. And then he takes off his wig,
Yeah.
and now, oh my God, it's Ronaldo. And then he got people just started crowding him.
Yeah.
That's what happens, right? You can't go out in public anymore,
Yeah.
which is the life of a famous athlete, right?
Yeah.
And then you give that up. You can't live a normal life anymore. You can't go to the mall or to watch a movie or just go
Yeah.
get ice cream. You can't do stuff like that, which is unfortunate,
Yeah.
but that comes with the life. But John Stockton didn't have that problem because you would never know a 6-foot guy just walking out in the street. Well, he's a hooper. What? Not only is he a hooper, he's one of the best hoopers in the world.
Yep.
So, sir, you good?
Yeah. We good?
I think we can keep going. There's so many more records.
Yeah, there's so
We
many.
should probably just do a next part to this.
Yeah.
But I really had fun just diving into the context a lot of this.
This
with
was
you.
really fun.
I think you learned something. I learned some new stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we just continue the fun, right? Keep it rolling. All right, sir. So that's it for us. Remember to like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, and all that good stuff. At Oh Kiddan. And with that, see you later. Alvida, Ajo, Khuda Hafiz, and Sat Sri Akal. Peace.